Hi everyone, let's jump right in. Studies show that trust in leadership is one of the top predictors for teacher retention and student success. And it all begins with what we as leaders must be willing to do, and that is make the right choice, not necessarily the easy one. So today, I would like to talk a little bit about the role of moral leadership and courage in my own leadership journey, why it matters, how I've practiced it, and the challenges it presents. Courage in moral leadership is the ability to act with integrity, even when it's difficult or unpopular. It is about aligning your decision making with your core values, even when there are easier choices, or you may be able to avoid conflict or possibly please others. For me, moral courage is essential in leadership because school buildings and communities are ethical places. And the decisions that we make reflect what we believe about children, about our colleagues, and the purpose of education. One situation that tested my moral courage as a leader involved a small team of creative teachers that I lead. Their students consistently produce exceptional work. However, concerns did arise when those students were consistently being pulled from other classes to complete assignments in this program. We all know that instructional minutes and time is extremely important and very sacred across campus, particularly, of course, in those core subject areas. So I knew this was a conversation that I was going to have to have. And while I deeply respect my colleagues, I did want them to feel that this conversation was more collaborative and not punitive. So rather than focusing on the idea of the complaints, I emphasized the goal of maintaining fairness and mutual respect among all of the teaching staff. It was important to me to have the conversation feel like we were coming to this solution together. Ultimately, this open discourse led to a shared understanding. The team recognized the need to protect all educators' instructional time, not just their own. And so while initiating this conversation was extremely challenging, it was a necessary act of moral leadership that helped strengthen both our team cohesion and our collective responsibility to our students. Maintaining moral integrity in leadership can be extremely challenging because there's always constant pressure from the state, from your district, from your administrative team, your colleagues, the communities, the students, and then the idea is that, we always think about taking the path of least resistance. But what I've learned is that trust and credibility are built when your words and actions are consistently aligned with one another, when people can see that what you say is what you do. I navigate those moments by reflecting on my own values, seeking counsel from trusted colleagues, and centering decisions on what I believe is best for children, because we serve children ultimately, and that's always, my number one priority. Because they are the most vulnerable in these groups. At the end of the day, we are not just looking at numbers. They are humans who deserve the best that we have to offer. Professor of Education and Administration Thomas Sergiovanni once said that moral leadership is more powerful than any positional leadership a leader can have. And I firmly believe that. Moral leadership is not a luxury. It is a responsibility that we have. Our students are watching, learning not just content, but what leadership, empathy, compassion, and service look like in action? I strive to model moral leadership by being transparent, holding space for those difficult conversations, and treating every voice with respect. It is not always easy, but believe me, it is always necessary. Because at the end of the day, leadership is not about control. It is about trust and about doing what is right, even when it's hard. Moral courage doesn't mean never making a mistake, because we will make mistakes. We're human. We're not perfect. It does mean being willing to reflect and remaining committed to our values time and time again. This is the type of leader that I strive to be, because it is the kind of leader that I believe our children deserve. Thank you.